Right, here you go. You got the milk? Yo. What's up? This is your boy JERMZ from JERMZ Boxing, aka JERMZ the Boxing Prophet. Yeah, it's a new year, 2013, and I'm hoping some big things for boxing this year. You know, some big fights that still can be made. You know, even though we don't have Manny Pacquiao versus Mayweather anytime soon, I doubt ever in life it's gonna happen. There's still some big money fights out there, you know, such as Canelo versus Mayweather, or even Martinez versus Mayweather. You still got fights out there that are still Povetkin versus Vladimir Klitschko. Andre Ward versus there's countless fights that you can make still, that you can produce, and there's still some fights that can be made that can produce good fights, even though they're not marquee fights or marquee fighters. There's still some fights that can be made that can cause an explosive reaction, like one of the fights that I'm talking about is like Mickey Garcia versus Orlando Salido. Okay, now Orlando Salido, Mikey or Mickey, whatever the hell his name is, he is a good prospect, a good puncher, up and coming puncher, a little Mexican dude from, I don't know, Southern California, I don't know where he's from, but Orlando Salido is an upsetter. He is, he's not your typical trial horse because he believes in himself. Orlando Salido, he beat up Guerrero. I know you're gonna say that, he was on steroids or whatever, but his style is what was beating him. For the longest time, he was belting Guerrero with those wide, Maidana-like punches. They're not really, he's not that crisp. He's not, he doesn't have short, crisp punches, like a lot of textbooks boxers do. He's more of a street brawler, with a jab. He's a street brawler with a little technique. Mickey Garcia is the opposite. He's more of a technical guy than he with punch power. But this fight is gonna be an all guns out, guns blazing. It's gonna be a duel. This fight is a little underestimated. It's actually gonna happen this weekend. Garcia versus. Hey, don't be fighting, baby. Don't be fighting. Hey, share with her. Share with her. Okay, so Garcia versus Salido is gonna be it is gonna be a banger. It's gonna be a barn burner because you got Orlando Salido. When Salido fought Juanma Lopez, I predicted Salido to upset Juanma Lopez in both fights, and he pulled it through because I understand that Salido, he believes in himself so much that if he put Juan Manuel in the trenches, if he dragged him to hell, Juanma wouldn't be able to come out of it. You know what I mean? Because Juanma has never been put in a situation where he had to crawl out of that hole. They never put Juanma in a situation like that. And every time that Juanma Lopez tries to get a little rowdy, he gets caught a lot. He does get caught. So I always said, if he gets caught by somebody with a little bit of power, they're gonna kick his ass because Juanma Lopez doesn't know how to hold. He doesn't know how to hold. When he's hurt, he fights. Right away, he just wants to just maul with you, and that's what happened, and that's exactly what happened with Salido. Salido was depending on Juanma Lopez was fighting back, and that's how he caught him, clipped him both times. The second time, he beat him up so bad that he beat up Juanma Lopez so bad that Juanma Lopez was like, oh, the referee's got a gambling problem. You know what I'm saying? Like he was just retarded, that. But in this one, basically the point to this is you should never take Orlando Salido lightly. Salido likely is an upsetter for a reason, But I don't think he will. He's got enough. He's got enough to upset Mickey. But Mickey is sharp. He also has that Mexican in him. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like Mexican versus Mexican, but Mickey's got a little bit more of the student part, and that's what ultimately is going to take over. Orlando Salido is going to be sloppy after round 6. Mickey's going to hurt him. I believe that Mickey can knock out Salido in the late rounds. I will not be shocked if this was a shocker in the favor of Salido. But I'm gonna go with brains on this one, and Mickey's got the brains with the speed, with the power, as opposed to Salido just having the heart and the power and his endurance, But I think at the end of the day, Mickey's power and his timing and his smarts is what's gonna pull out here. Both of them got Mexican heart. Both of them's got the heart, but Mickey Garcia. No bag right now. Mickey Garcia's got that extra formula that he needs to pull all this out of the fire. Okay. Another fight that's going to come up. It's not really an exciting bout. It's more of a pick'ems match. I mean, not a pick'ems, not at all. Oh, my bad. Brian Vera versus Sergei Dzinziruk. Dzinziruk was knocked out by Sergio Martinez. He's very, very cool, very technical, very, very mechanical, very European-like, up straight. He doesn't really move his head much, straight. This is basically going to be textbook solid fundamentals versus sloppiness, because Brian Vera is nothing but sloppiness and heart. Textbook fundamentals versus sloppiness and heart, and it's basically styles makes fights right here on this one. Vera, to win, he would have to maul and catch with catch Sergei Dzinziruk with something stupid. He has to catch him with a blind shot somehow, but Dzinziruk is really solid. He will not break down. He will eventually outbox Brian Vera. Brian Vera is one of the sloppiest, middleweights I've seen fight, and he doesn't have anything to pull through. The only reason he beat Sergio Mora is because of his will. He outwilled him. Not that he outboxed him. He outwilled him. He outslicked him. Sergio Mora, was it Mora? Yeah, the Latin snake. He wasn't even that pretty to begin with. All right, baby. Hold it down a little bit. All right. Now this is this fight. This fight actually kind of got me a little worried. Bernard Hopkins versus Travoris Clout. Now, the reason why I'm a little worried is because I feel like this guy is too strong, quick strong for someone like Hopkins to do all his little Hopkins trick on. I believe that Travoris Clout has enough to knock out Hopkins. I do. I know it's a long shot. I know Bernard Hopkins hasn't been knocked out before, but I feel like Travoris Clout is going to hurt Hopkins in this one, and he's going to beat Hopkins. He's going to drop Hopkins. Dropkins. He's going to Dropkins, Hopkins, Popkins, whatever the fuck. But he's going to really maul him this time. He's going to... I don't see it any other way. I want to see... This is what I want it to happen. I want Hopkins to just to keep turning him around, headbutt, oops, sneaky little elbow, sneaky little shoulder, sneaky little too much holding. I want that shit to work on Travoris Clout. Don't get me wrong, I want Hopkins to win, but I don't believe myself when I say it like that. I believe Travoris Clout is gonna expect being mauled. It's gonna expect an ugly fight, and I think that eventually Hopkins is, Travoris Clout is in shape. He's a monster. He can have some power. He can have some power if he hits you right. For a reason Pascal ducked him. I believe he ducked him. There's a reason why he ducked him. And Travoris Clout is just today. If Hopkins beats Travoris Clout, I'll take my hat off for Hopkins. Like, he is greater than I even thought, and I already think he is great. You know what I mean? But I think Travoris Clout is going to hurt him, drop him. I want to say knock him out, but I don't think... I think once he hurts Hopkins will play it safe all the way to the end and survive a knockout. So I would say it's going to be a unanimous decision with Hopkins winning, because Hopkins is going to say, he only dropped me once and I outboxed him the rest of the way, blah, blah, blah. But him saying that he won the fight too, but at the end of the day, Travoris Clout's going to beat him. Decisively, he's gonna beat him, even dropping him, hurting him. I feel like he's gonna hurt Hopkins. I feel like this is one of those fights that can retire a fighter. Travoris Clout hits that hard. I'm not really having many fights right now. There are not many fights out there that are made right now. So I'm just gonna go with what's already scheduled. Another one was Sergio Martinez versus Martin Murray. Martin Murray. That's right, Martin Murray. I've seen Martin Murray fight a couple times. I've seen the draw versus what the hell's that damn dude's name? The guy with the jab, the guy that got robbed against De La Hoya years ago. Felix Sturm, yeah, that's right. Sturm means storm in German, but Felix Sturm. You see, Felix Sturm is either the peekaboo kind of fighter, you know, both of them, in that whole fight, Murray and Sturm were just both doing peekaboo with each other. Peekaboo, 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 peek, peek, you know what I mean? Pow, pow. The thing with Murray is that he doesn't have power. He doesn't have that much power. He doesn't have that much, he's got a little bit of pop. He is strictly fundamentals. Fundamentals can get you everywhere. Vladimir Klitschko's fundamentals and power alone, you know, is ruling a division. But you can't do that in the middleweight division. If you have fundamentals, you gotta have some pop to go with it, especially if you're gonna beat somebody like Sergio Martinez. If you go up against Sergio Martinez, who is beyond technical, he's flashy. If you go up against somebody flashy like Sergio Martinez with just fundamentals, that's not gonna work. You know, the reason why Marco Antonio Barreras's fundamentals worked against Hamed is because Hamed left himself naked in front of you. He left himself naked in front of you. Okay, it'll work that way, but Sergio Martinez is not that stupid. He leaves himself naked from a distance, and then once he goes inside, he mauls you, he goes around. And the part about that is that when Sergio Martinez does go inside, Murray blocks himself. He cuffs himself. He has a habit of just cuffing himself, and Martinez will go boom, 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 cuff, 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 get out. You know, and do the same thing with his hands down. You know, do the same thing. Go in, cuff him, get out. Boom. And just keep sliding and boom, doing the little jab and sliding. That's all he's got to do all night, just exactly the way he did to Chavez. He doesn't need that much. Sergio Martinez just needs to be Sergio Martinez. He's gonna out-slick, out-box, out-slick, out-punch, out-hit motherfucking Murray. Sorry. But he's gonna outbox him. Murray has nothing special. He doesn't have that much speed. He doesn't have that much power. He's got solid fundamentals. Like I said before, that's not enough to beat somebody like Sergio Martinez. To hurt somebody like Sergio Martinez, you gotta have power. You gotta have some pop. You gotta put him out. You know, the only reason Margarito beat him is because he had that pop. The only reason Chavez hurt him in the last round because he had that pop. Yeah, you know, Sergio Martinez gets dropped in almost every fight, but that's just because of the way he you know, that's because of the way he moves. He might get dropped in this fight too. You know, he always gets dropped, even against Pavlik, who he butchered to death. You know what I'm saying? So expect, you know, Sergio Martinez to have a slip, maybe. You know, but you know, because you know, Murray's coming with solid fundamentals, and somebody with solid fundamentals sometimes can clip somebody who's a little Gumby-ish. You know what I'm saying? But I think at the end of the day, it's gonna be the speed of Sergio Martinez is gonna handcuff Murray to a punch decision win, and that's it. You know, because Murray does he when he sees punches going, this is. You know, even though Felix Sturm was a test, I still feel like Murray is a little untested. So to throw him in against Sergio Martinez right now, I somewhat consider him green somewhat. Because he couldn't even beat, you know, a little bit older Felix Sturm, who's not really in his age prime, you know, but he went, you know, someone with the style of Sturm. I'm not saying he should have beat Sturm, you know, Sturm is not no tomato can either. But I just feel like, you know, if you can barely have a draw with Sturm, I feel like Sergio Martinez is gonna outbox him like nothing, like whatever. You know, it's not gonna be a big deal. And that's pretty much everything. That's pretty much all the fights that are made. I mean, there's not many fights out there. I mean, what I wanted to make the fight that I wanted to be made was Mayweather versus Sergio Martinez. I mean, that's the fight that I've been wanting to watch. But we might not even see that because they're more focused on Canelo versus Mayweather. I mean, Canelo does have some pop, and I feel like if he can get to Mayweather and get him with that little looping right hand, he can make the fight a little close. But I feel like, you know, Mayweather will ding him, you know, the whole way through. I mean, Mayweather is our Sugar Ray Leonard. I mean, come on, there's no way around it. I mean, he's not that fast, but he is that defensive, that solid defensive. And to beat Mayweather, you got to work out more than him, and that's almost near goddamn impossible because he's a gym rat. In order to beat Mayweather, you have to work out way more than him. People underestimate his workout technique. They underestimate that shit, but you know what? That's where it all is. Rocky Marciano, he used to say, hey, how many miles does Joe Louis run? 6, I'll run 12. You know what I'm saying? He try to do it twice as much as work as a champion would do. And that's exactly how he did, and that's why he ended up retiring undefeated. I know you're going to say that he knocked everybody out old and cold, but, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, he put himself in that position, and on paper, that's the reality that he gave us, whatever, you know. But anyways, yeah, so this year it's gotta be Oh man, I mean, there's a lot of things you can make boxing. There's a lot of things you can do to make boxing a better sport. To start drawing in people. And you know what? As a matter of fact, I wanted to make a video because this is a whole segment about about ideas of how to make people fall in love with boxing again. Mexicans in Mexico. I mean, I'll probably just tell you a little thing here, but I was watching this Mexican TV Azteca where they put a microphone in the ring, and they put that fishbowl, effect in the ring. Okay. Now, what I tripped out is the styles make fights. If you get a counter puncher against another counter puncher, expect a boring ass fight. But if you get a face first brawler versus another face first brawler who are both in losing streaks, you can have fireworks. Okay. This is the point that I was trying to make. I was watching this fight where the guy was like 6 wins, 11 losses, versus another dude that was like 30-something wins and 20-something losses. Like, what the fuck? Like, on paper, it looked like a bum fight. It looked like a bum fight on paper. Hold on, baby. Oh, you need. Hold on. Let me help her out. All right. Okay. All right. So on paper, it looked like a bum fight, but stylistically, both of them give their all, and both of them go face forward, and both barely have any defense. So with this microphone in the ring and this fishbowl, what I saw was, first of all, I heard every punch to the point where it bassed in the surround sound, like the thump, thump, thump. The thing a lot of times when you go to a boxing fight, what people carry with them is the way the punches felt in their stomach. You're ringside, you thump the thumps, that you hear the punches that land. There's this subtle bass that runs through your body, and it's like, oh, you can almost feel the punches from ringside. That same bass was amplified. The same sound was amplified with this microphone that they were using in this TV Azteca bout, and you can hear the like kind of like it's like sound effects, but it was real punches. And then it got to the point where they were in the corner and no one was moving. They were just in there toe to toe, and that's when the fishbowl camera came in. And it kind of like zoomed in on both fighters, and you could see everything. So when they were fighting, you could hear everything and see everything, and it was epic. It was epic. Like, whoa, why don't they do this to all the fights? If they did this to all, imagine if they did that to the Castillo and Corrales fight. God damn, that shit would have been in the theaters. That you see, it makes a difference on how you see fights. When you see HBO fights, you can barely hear the punches because of everybody. It's like, unless it's a really good punch, then you can hear it barely. You know what I mean? You can barely hear it, but there's nothing compared to what I was witnessing with these two, Juan versus Jose kind of fights. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it was like a draw or something, but it was like, damn, this is one of the best fights I've seen in a long time. And without the sound, it probably was like an average slugfest, but because it had that sound amplified, it made it that much more exciting. I don't know how to explain it, but that's just one idea. You know what I'm saying? To amplify the sounds in a boxing ring. And another thing, backgrounds. When the contender was doing the whole thing with each boxer, you know what I'm saying? Like meeting his family, meaning, oh, he doesn't like pizza, or he doesn't like cheese in his lasagna or whatever. I mean, there's no such thing, but anyways, you get the picture. Or he's got a wife who's a Jehovah's Witness, and they both met because she was going door to door, and he met her right there. Little things like that, little details in life. So when the guy's walking down the aisle, you're looking at this guy like, oh man, he's a baby daddy, just like me. He went through this, he grew up here, he went through that, just like me, against somebody else who has nothing, their stories when they're walking down the aisle. It's like a little mini documentary. If everybody had that little, right before they fight, that 5-minute documentary, just to get to know every single fighter, it'll make those fights that much better, because you start rooting for those ones. You start rooting for it. Like the whole Robert Guerrero versus Berto. Imagine you didn't know anything about the backgrounds. You'll just see a good fight. But because you know the reality of Robert Guerrero's nature with his wife, it makes that heart beat that much harder. Because you start thinking about everything that he's going through, all the chemotherapy, all those tests, the results, the waiting, the anticipation, all that shit, everything goes into your head. So when you see him mauling, you know exactly where the passion's coming from. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes boxing that much better. Knowing exactly why they're fighting. Knowing exactly why these punches are being thrown. Knowing exactly what their ambition is, what their drive is, okay? So that's just 2 ideas. I got a whole lot of them. But anyways, this is JERMZ Boxing. I already hit my 20-minute mark, blah, 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 whoop-de-whoop. Suggest me fights. There's not many fights, not big fights right there that makes me want to make videos. So just keep suggesting things to me, alright? JERMZ Boxing. Oh yeah, I got a new Facebook thing for my boxing thing. Facebook.com/JERMZ Boxing, I think. It'll be right there. You know, I got just like 7 people, like 7. You know, I'm not really pushing it much, but you know, if anybody you start jumping in on it, just start liking this shit, so we can start, you know, like, you know, any little questions you guys have, just ask me on that thing. Okay, so just hit me up, Facebook.com/JERMZ Boxing, JERMZ BOXING. You know how to spell that shit. All right, peace.